Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while, probably a little too long, but we're here today, and the NFL season is coming to an end. So, I wanted to give you guys my honest thoughts on the Cleveland Browns season this year. I've also got a couple of other much bigger projects that have been taking up a lot of time, and that's part of the reason why I've been gone for so long. But like I said, we're here today, and I have some honest thoughts on the season, because believe me, it's been one hell of a year. Heading into the 2023 season, the Browns were about to begin their first full year with Deshaun Watson as their starting quarterback. This was something we had anticipated for a while, knowing that this would be the year he would have to back up the fully guaranteed contract he got in the 2022 offseason. Now, I've always been hard on Watson ever since he entered the league. Not that I think Houston failures were his fault, but I always felt like I'd rather have a Dak Prescott, when he's healthy, over Deshaun Watson. This is also going to be our first taste of Jim Schwartz as our defensive coordinator. He was tasked with fixing our defense after the Browns had finally, by all that is holy, had gotten rid of Joe Woods. I looked at this as a risk, and if our defense sucks in 2023, people's heads may be sentenced to the guillotine. The Browns were pretty busy before the season by picking up Zadarius Smith out of Minnesota to fill a spot that was left open by Jadeveon Clowney, and to be the complement to Myles Garrett on the defensive line. So already, there's two of the big names covered from the offseason, and so that had us thinking, what are the Browns going to do next? Well, they picked up D-Hop. Well, technically, we picked up D-Hop. You see, DeAndre Hopkins ended up going to the Tennessee Titans for 2023, and the D-Hop that we got was actually Dustin Hopkins, the kicker from the Los Angeles Chargers. But the Browns have Cade York, so why did they sign a kicker? Well, they don't have Cade York anymore. So it's very clear that the front office is trying to do everything that they can to bring this team a Super Bowl, despite many fans, including myself, being very, very skeptical of the Deshaun Watson contract, and the fact that we went 10-6 back in 2007 with a team that was led by Derek goddamn Anderson at quarterback. And let it be known that 2007 also saw appearances by fucking Charlie Fry and Brady Quinn. The first 2 weeks of the season showed some promise with a win over the Bengals in Week 1, but Week 2 would go down as one of the worst games of the year, and it's also what I believe to be the end of Nick Chubb's football career. To have an injury that's nearly identical to the one he had in college that nearly took him out of football the first time, I think it's best that he stays out of football, because I would rather him not risk injuring that leg for a third time and be forced out medically. As a Browns fan, I do want to see him back, but like I said, I think it's best that he just retires. Deshaun Watson looks arguably worse to start the year than he did when he started last year for us. The defense looks better than it did with Joe Woods, but I'm still not 100% convinced that Jim Schwartz is the reason why our defense is so great all of a sudden. The first 6 weeks would continue to be a roller coaster, as we would handle Tennessee in Week 3. Kareem Hunt came back in Week 3. But then we shit the bed against the Ravens. Now, granted, Deshaun Watson wasn't playing that game and we're starting DTR, but here's the thing. For $230 million that we gave to Deshaun Watson, fully guaranteed, and he gets to sit on the bench, injured or not, $230 million fully guaranteed is a problem when he's on the bench. The defense can only do so much when your offense gives up the ball in prime field position for the opposing team. So, of course, the Ravens are going to put up a lot of points and beat the ever-living shit out of us because our offense can't move the ball. Now, going into the bye week gives us time to relax, let everything calm down, and get ready for the next game. See, who do we play in the next week? God damn it. We got to play San Fran in week 6. Let me guess. San Francisco's just going to run the ball on us, and we're going to get our asses handed to us. The Browns won? This team, starting P.J. Walker, just beat the 49ers. What the fuck is happening? So what went right through the first 6 weeks of the year? Well, the defense looks considerably better than it did last year, particularly because we've had some very good play calling, and Jim Schwartz has actually implemented some effective defensive schemes. We don't drop into prevent defense the moment we have a 3-point lead because we get a field goal, and the star players actually look like star players this year. Dustin Hopkins has been good for us so far. He hasn't charged the ball yet. The offense, I mean, it's there? Does that count? When we think of what went wrong, obviously the offense is one of the first things that comes to mind, particularly with the Chubb injury, and also Deshaun Watson just not looking like a great quarterback again. But the injuries are also quickly starting to pile up for this team through 6 weeks, which begs the question, what happens if Watson is either so bad or gets injured that we have to replace him? Well, we know the DTR looks like shit, and we don't know how good P.J. Walker is going to be for the rest of the year. So, are they just going to sign another quarterback? Can they sign another quarterback? And if they did sign another quarterback, who would they get? There's rumors going around that they have interest in Kirk Cousins, but what if that falls through? Are they going to turn to free agency? I mean, who are the quarterbacks available in free agency right now? Fucking Joe Flacco, Nick Foles, Carson Wentz? Maybe if we could trade for them? I just don't know what to do at this point. Do you sign fucking Johnny Manziel? I mean, where do you go from here? Oh, I hate this team sometimes. As the second part of the season begins, it becomes clear that P.J. Walker is the best quarterback the Browns have when it comes to actually being able to throw the ball. However, the dude just can't stop throwing it to the other team. Even Njoku seems to be playing the best football of his career so far, which doesn't say much considering how much the Browns have screwed with his position on the roster. But hey, the game against the Colts will go down as one of the best football games of the season. Big win for the Browns, mind you. The following game against Seattle, was another thriller, but P.J. Walker really didn't look as good, and the offense looked just about as bad as it did against the Ravens. It's amazing how good that game was, actually. Speaking of the Ravens, Week 10 would see a big win for the Browns over Baltimore, believe it or not. Puts us right back up into that playoff conversation. The fuck you mean Watson's out for the year? Now we have to play P.J. Walker? They seriously want to start DTR against the Steelers. What the fuck is going on? What are they going to do next? Trade for Kirk Cousins? Oh wait, we're well past the trade deadline, so we can't even get him if we wanted to. So, let me guess, we're going to go to free agency and sign Joe Flacco's old ass? with me. I hate this team. I love the Browns, but it's really difficult to like them at this point. The defense is without question the best defense in the NFL, but the lingering problems and the repeated fuck-ups by the Browns after having not learned a thing for all these years continue to plague this offense. I'm not going to waste my breath on the amount of injuries that we have because it seems like we always have these injuries, but we keep having to go through this goddamn quarterback carousel that we thought was temporarily halted with Baker Mayfield. And we fucked around with him so much that he wanted out. $230 million fully guaranteed. And now we've signed the Rat Bird. As I said, the defense has been the best in the NFL, but they're always getting injured. This offense is offensive to football and looked like shit against the Broncos. Now we have the issue of whether or not Joe Flacco is going to play this year and if he's going to be any good. December 3rd, 2023. Joe Flacco would become the 4th starting quarterback for the Browns this season and the 37th starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999. His Browns debut against the Rams would be forgettable, but he would follow it up with 3 straight wins heading into Week 17 against the Jets. Week 17 would see the Browns punch their ticket into the playoffs with a victory over New York, and Browns fans would actually be chanting Joe Flacco's name at the stadium. The Ravens would clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC, meaning the Browns can write off the last game of the year against Cincy. The final third of the season was one that will never be forgotten by football fans because Joe Flacco, of all people, would lead Cleveland to the playoffs. And regardless of what happens, this will go down as one of the greatest football stories ever told. The defense has solidified themselves as one of the best ever seen, and like always, the Browns gave fans hope for next year. I thought we moved past this. What the fuck? With the 2023 season finally in the books, there's always next year. I hate this fucking team, man. I swear to God.